is an interesting one. Brandon Gomes, who now for the second time has gotten up in front of the media and just made some pretty bold statements. I'll give him this. It sounded like this time he was maybe a little more prepared, knew what he was going to say this time. A couple months ago, he said, "Hey, Mookie Betts is definitely playing in the infield," and everybody was like, "Why are you telling us this? Like, what's the motivation to give us this information now?" We got clarity. It was clarity that, not to toot my own horn, that I predicted on this show, and it was not a popular opinion at the time, but that it's Mookie Betts is going to be the shortstop of the Los Angeles Dodgers next season. He's not going to be the second baseman. And so I've got 3 questions for you, Anthony, with the announcement that Mookie Betts is going to be the shortstop. Question number 1, can he handle it? Can he actually play shortstop competently, Anthony? What do you say?
Yeah, I think so. I do. I really do. I'm not saying that he is going to win a Gold Glove. So let's everything else that I say doesn't mean that. I think he can handle the position competently, and I think he can do so. I think a big reason for that is he knew the day they won the World Series that this was going to be his future. I think these discussions were already being had. So he's going to have all winter and all spring to be preparing for that assignment. Whereas last year he had like a week to prepare, and then was like basically learning on the fly every day.
Like that.
Yeah. And then was just learning on the fly every day. And then, and then the injury and just kind of threw everything into flux. So given all that prep time, knowing the kind of athlete Mookie Betts is, he's going to be in shape. We know that, all of that stuff with him. Yes, I'm very confident that he can be a competent shortstop.
Yeah, I'm with you. And to clarify, people in the chat, I never said that it's more popular now. I'm just saying it's happening. And I understand the reasons why people are skeptical of it. I disagree on why some people are skeptical. My views on Gavin Lux, which we're going to get to here in just a second. But I understand completely the skepticism around 2 things. One is we've seen him play and it was below average. And 2, wait a minute, isn't the whole point of moving him to the infield that this is going to be like easier on his body, and is putting him at shortstop maybe way worse for him than some of the alternative options? I agree with you on, can he play shortstop? I think the answer is going to be yes this season. Can he play shortstop forever? I don't know. But can he play shortstop this year with a full offseason to prepare for it, a full spring training to prepare for it? I think he can. As people have pointed out, the issues for Mookie Betts were not, I can't remember where I heard this, but it was like the hard parts of playing shortstop were not too hard for Mookie Betts. The hard part for Mookie Betts playing shortstop was the throw. And that's really the simplest, most teachable piece of the whole thing. And so it wasn't going to his left or going to his right or the range or any of that. It was simply the arm. And we've seen Mookie Betts' arm. It's not like he can't throw. I think he's just got to figure out that throw in particular, feel confident to where he can let it rip. So I think he can do that. Now, I entirely agree with, which this is my second question. Is this temporary, Anthony? And temporary in the sense of for 2025, and then that's it, and then he's going to second base in 2026? Or is it possible with Gavin Lux, who's got a few more years of team control left, and we're going to get specifically to Lux in a second, but is this a 1-year stopgap, Anthony? Or do you think this could be a 2-3 year stopgap?
Yeah, I don't think it's it's temporary in the way that I don't think he's the shortstop for the rest of his contract.
Okay.
Maybe it's beyond this season. But I would say, that's around it. I do think he stays in the infield for the rest of his contract for the most part.
Okay.
I think this has a lot to do with them doing right by Mookie Betts.
Yeah. Well, Blake's in the chat. Blake just made an interesting point in the chat in saying that moving him to the infield might not actually have anything to do with the wear and tear on his body and be entirely about Mookie Betts wants to play shortstop. Do you buy that as possible?
Yes, absolutely. I missed that from Blake, but I think Blake is right. This is, I really do think this is about them keeping Mookie Betts happy. I think this discussion has been happening for a while. This is not a new thing for the Dodgers and Mookie Betts. It's just been that circumstances have kept him in right field. When they tried to move him into the infield permanently this season, stuff happened and he ended up having to go back out to right field. I think now this is them saying, okay, We're going to give you all the time to prepare for this, and
Yeah.
all of that. We know you want to play in the dirt. You've been saying it probably since you got here, because it was a thing with the Red Sox as well. He did not want to play right field. He was good at it, but he was just blocked, and he always wanted to play in the infield. He probably let that be known when he got to the Dodgers at some point. Look, when this door opens, I want to be the guy.
Yeah.
And you know what? The door's open right now. And it was open a bit last year too. Again, circumstances kind of threw a wrench into those plans. But I think that this has a lot to do with that. And I'm okay with that because, again, I think he can be a competent shortstop. And if you're going to do right by Mookie Betts in this way, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Okay, last question. Dong, by the way, said this is permanent for now, which is, you're a Dodger fan when.
Yes.
Okay, last one is, what does this mean for Gavin Lux? And specifically, I'll ask it this way. For a guy that has been put into every potential trade proposal by most of the fan base for the last 90 days, at least, does this mean that Gavin Lux is safe?
Safe for now.
Okay. I mean, but how long is for now? Like, do you think Gavin Lux needs to worry about where he's living in 2025? Or do you think maybe he needs to keep open the possibility that 2026 he's got a new zip code?
I think if they had any intention of moving Lux, they would have talked Betts into playing second base, and they would have figured out a stopgap.
Yeah.
I really do. I think Betts being named shortstop now is Lux being protected also.
Yeah.
That's, you never say never, because if something comes along and it's like, holy crap, we got to do this, and he's part of it, then so be it. But what I do think this is just them saying, you know what, we have our middle infield for, our regular middle infield for the most part, maybe some platoon splits or some rest and things like that, whatever. But, I think this is what it is. And, with some of that depth that they have with other infielders, Chris Taylor, Rojas, Edman, guys who could all kind of circle into that when needed. I think this is what you're looking at for the Dodgers up the middle.
I love TQT says Lux needs to root hard for Betts to be a competent shortstop.
That's a great point.
It is, because if he's not, Gavin Lux will not outlive Mookie Betts as a Dodger. We all know that's the case. And if Mookie Betts wants to be playing the infield, and that's the place. Now, here's a few options for what this means for Gavin Lux. Option one is the Dodgers are simply maintaining leverage. They're walking back Brandon Gomes saying something a month and a half ago that he probably shouldn't have said as strongly, and saying, oh, no. When I said Mookie Betts was going to be an infielder, he's playing shortstop. Gavin Lux, basically the message to the league is Gavin Lux is not for free. Now, it's possible they're just walking it back a little bit and giving themselves a little bit of leverage to say, no, we don't need to trade Gavin Lux. Mookie Betts is playing shortstop for us. When in reality, they're very open to trading Gavin Lux, and they just wanted to protect a little bit of value there. That's possible. Option two is, as Fabian Ardaya came on our show and said, the Dodgers have repeatedly told us with their behaviors how they feel about Gavin Lux. They have given him every opportunity to succeed at shortstop. That didn't work. They didn't give up on him 2 months into last season when everybody was calling for it because he was so bad offensively. And he's still here today. He wasn't moved at the deadline. He wasn't moved so far in the offseason. He's still here. And so Fabian would say, they keep telling you can pretend like Gavin Lux is worth less than they think he is, but they've told you what they think of Gavin Lux. And so I think it could be either of those two. Like both of those are possible hindsight, looking back 3 months from now on this conversation saying, oh man, they were just, protecting the asset, or man, they really believe in Gavin Lux, and we're going to find out if they're right or wrong.
Yeah. The protecting the asset thing, like, look, other teams look, and they have professional scouting, and they know what the numbers are and all of that stuff. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, I don't think they're gonna be like, hey, he's our starting guy, so wink wink. Like,
but I mean, if the Dodgers went out and signed Willy Adames for $180 million and said Mookie Betts is playing the infield right now, you don't think teams around the league would be asking for a discount on Gavin Lux?
They're going to ask for that anyway.
Well, but the Dodgers have more ground to stand on it by saying no. Whereas the other team's going to say, okay, what are you going to do? Run Gavin Lux back as your fifth infielder who never plays? Like, that's you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand teams are smarter. They
don't sign Adames though without the intention then of moving probably Lux.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's my point, is like what they're doing now is they're saying he's valuable to us, and whether they're telling the truth or not remains to be seen. Real quick on this, and then we're going to get to some questions if you want to start filling the chat with those. Where are you at on Gavin Lux? Like, Do you believe he's a guy they should move now because the value is never going to be higher? This is going to be a rough year, and they should just capitalize on the second half that he just had and the years of control remaining and trade him now? Or, man, I think there's a little something to this guy, and the further we get away from the knee injury, maybe the second half is a more clear picture of who he is than the first.
Yeah, man. Look, you and I did not sell through the first half of last season. I'm not selling now.
Yeah,
I'm
fair.
not selling.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
in. I'm in just like the Dodgers front office is on him. Also, like his value could get higher. If he
Yeah.
starts out the way he was hitting last year, his value is as high as it's ever been all of a
Yeah.
sudden. So yeah, look, I think that he is in their mix. And again, that's, never say never, because something might come along and he might have to be part of it.
Yeah.
And that's fine, because I don't think they trade him for nothing. That, it's going to be something significant if he's in a package.